Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited to show you. Look it, I finally figured out how to do this stitch. So this is the herringbone tubular knit stitch, it's called. And let's enlarge this and take a little better look at this. So this video is a bit different. This is going to be like a backwards video because I still need to work on the step by step to show you how to do this stitch. A lot simpler than I've seen in other videos. So what we're going to do in this one is we're going to talk a bit about the stitch and what I learned, as well as we'll put a clasp on this one, because that's the other thing I noticed too, is the clasps they put on are usually like a toggle clasp or a magnetic clasp. If those work for you, that's great. I feel like you spend time and money on these beautiful beads and then you put like just a so-so clasp on it. And again, I'm not dissing anybody that does that. If I've seen some extraordinary bracelets with those clasps, but you know who I am. I'm a bead princess. I put the blingiest things I can on them. So that's my thing, is I like putting like crazy blingy clasp on stuff. So we'll do this one, and actually we'll do this one as well. So, and then stay tuned for the video that's going to show you how to get this stitch once and for all, no mistakes, just super fun. And I have to thank Richard from Real Men Bead 2, I think it is. I'll put the link for his channel in the description. He posted a comment on my little trial and error videos, and he did say the key is to remember. Now, how did he put that? Something about going through two beads and then having two beads on. Something like that. And whatever it was he said, I was like, that makes so much sense. So there's that. And what's the other thing? Oh, okay. So a few things here. So here are some of the fails that I did. So there's this one here. Clearly something went wrong on this one. I cut the thread. Yeah, so I think I was getting it. Here's the problem, is this side's not closed. So that's where that problem was. So this should sit like that, and then all of a sudden you have it. So I could go back, but I was like, okay, I'm trying to figure this out. I want to show you how to do it. And if I can't do it with confidence, there's no way you're going to figure it out. So that was a fail. And you know what I have to say too? There was a lot more than this. I just got rid of the evidence. Yeah, so here's the next attempt. And I don't know if you can see this. Let me get this in focus here. Look at how squishy soft it is. That's not supposed to be like that. So a few things that I changed. First of all is I put a bigger bead. This is an 11-0 Toho bead. They are slightly bigger than check beads. So I did try to use my smallest check beads and put two beads so that it would kind of fill this hole here between these Superduos. It didn't work. It was too bulky. But the other thing using the Toho 11-0 bead with your Superduos actually works really well. So like these two were done with that. And so was this one here. And you can see it really looks nice. There is still some space, but it's a little better, fills it out nicely. The other thing I found is I started out by using dragon thread from Potomac Bead, And I also have Fireline, and I've used Fireline. I found that it was super hard to get some good tension with it. So I don't know if maybe I was using a 6 pound. Maybe I need a 8 pound for this, for it to hold its shape. So you can see it's really messy. The other part that I really, really don't like about the Fireline and the other threads that are similar is when you're using it, this starts to happen. The thread comes apart and shreds, and it's not supposed to do that, and it's really annoying. So I thought the reason I went to this is because this one's called Crystal. So for the most part, when I used it in other projects, you wouldn't see the thread as much. It's almost like clear thread. But as you can see the thread. So really, it wasn't doing its job. Fired. You're fired to throw the beads away. So I thought, you know what? That's it. I'm going back to the one I love, John Bead Good Thread. Here's the black, and here's the white. And you know what? Oh my God, so much better. It doesn't stretch. It doesn't stretch, so it keeps the shape of the beads. And it was so much easier to keep my tension to get those beads clinging together. So again, here's one that I use the black thread. You can't see the thread. Even though, like, if you were to go, let's see if we can bring this really close and zoom. I don't know if you can see that. You can barely see it. So you might be able to see it on this row, and that was a change I made to the design, is I added a step of going through, of going through the Superduo. Because at that step, you're supposed to go through an 11-0 bead, and I wanted to go from here up, something like that. So I'll show you that when I do the demonstration, the tutorial. So there is a row that I use where I go through the Superduo where you really don't have to. But so you can see I've gone through it there, and it goes all the way up. But that's really hard to see. You can't really see that. I don't know if it's clearer with the white thread. So you can see here. You see how there's 3 threads all the way up this line? But if you look at the other ones, there isn't. There's only 2. So, and here's an example of using, okay, this is the Fireline. Yeah, this is one of the first ones I did. So I did manage to not do too bad. Let me take this off of Zoom. I'm like not in the frame at all. Yeah, so this one I did use the John Bead Good Thread in this one. Maybe not. No, not on that one. So these were the first 2 that I did. And then I just got tired of how little tension. Now I did notice that with doing it more, I got a more secure tension. I wouldn't necessarily call it tight because you can't exactly get it tight with this design. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the other foolishness. I think my wife knows all about this bead stitch because I kept telling her, "Oh, it's not working." So here's the other thing I learned is, for me, it made no sense to use 3 colors. So in the video from Ali at Potomac Beads, they have 2 videos. The second video is a more updated current one. And the reason I say that is things are in frame and you can see stuff. I still had a hard time following her video. So that's what got me going on this, where I thought I need to deconstruct it so I can show you guys a simpler way to do it that you won't be wondering what you're doing. I'm trying to think. Okay, here's a mistake right here. This bead shouldn't be sitting there. And I used 3 colors. Could you even tell that there's 3 colors there? And when I took out the containers for these beads, I should show them to you because they look like they were different colors. Look at, that's pretty, orange, copper, and this lime green. I think they call it yellow, metallic yellow gold, metal lust. So that to me seemed like, oh, but you know what I'm noticing here in this bottle? These are orange and there's a couple of copper ones. This must be a mix. It says metallic antique copper. I wonder if it was accidentally mixed because there's definitely different colors. Anyway, that's the other thing is I found with trying to do this design, if I just make sure there's enough light there. If you use different colors to figure out where you are in the rotation, I actually found it more difficult to figure out. Now, I'll have to try it again now that I've got the stitch down. But I'll tell you, as you can see, this one and this one, once I went to one color, it was so much simpler. So I will test that out before I do the next tutorial video. So here is the final tricolor that I tried, and these are the stunning alu colors from John Bead. This one's mint and that one's azure blue, I think. So it's like or sky blue. One's azure, one's sky blue. They're around the same colors in this, but these are lovely. So I'll be definitely taking these apart. But as you can see, it does not look good at all. And let me see which thread I used here. That looks like the John Bead thread. Okay, there's my row where I go through 3. This row here. But as you can see, it's not, like that bead's not in the right position. That one there, that actually looks like, and it looks like there's a hole here. Yeah, that's never good. There's a hole in my beads, and there's not supposed to be. So where else? Oh, this one's sticking out like crazy. Oh, look, we got 2 the same color next to each other. Can you imagine how crazy annoyed I was? I'm like, why? Beading's supposed to be fun. So let's put those trial and error. You know what? These are worthy because they got me to this, and to this lovely one. And I have to say, they got me excited about Superduos again. I love Superduos no matter what. But I was like, I'd love to do a bracelet that's pretty much just Superduos because I love them so much. So after I did this was so funny. So one of the reasons why I stopped looking for colors, different colors in one bracelet, is I was running out of Superduos of a certain color and some that matched other colors without being too close to the same color. So yeah, that whole 3 color thing was just a mess. So we still appreciate, this is the hard work that got me to this. So yeah, these turned out super nice. They're nice and smooth. And again, a thank you to Richard for encouraging me to keep trying, because he said, once you get it, it will be so much fun and so satisfying. It's a very kind of a slinky feel to it and just lovely, Lovely. So this turned out so amazing. There's that color. And you know, I was so surprised at this fluorescent pink. This color, these Superduos came in my very first box from John Bead. And I'm trying to remember, somebody put the box together for me and they put 3 containers of these Superduos. So I was so stoked that it turned out lovely. This is a nice kind of summery color, this fluorescent yellow. Or sorry, pink. Like, can you tell I've been tired? And then of course this lovely pink. I think this is Rosaline. Oh, and I had some pink blush Tohos, so that's why I did these colors, and that turned out spectacular. Let's see, this lovely clasp like that. Let me see if I can close this. I was watching a video from Stephanie the other day at Bronze Pony, and she said, I'm gonna do this off camera. I'm gonna put my bracelet on off camera because it just doesn't work on camera. So I was like, oh my gosh, it's not just me. So I didn't push it all the way in, but you get the picture. But this is another argument for putting a blingy clasp on it, is it could be the centerpiece. And if you don't like your wire guardians exposed like that, you can cover it with a crimp cover. So, but I think it looks nice just like that. So let's pop that off there. So we are gonna do 2 different types of clasp on this. Okay, so that's what that one looks like with a wire guardian, a jump ring, and this very blingy flower. Okay, so let's do the pink first. So put this one aside. Those guys aside. I'm using a size 12 needle. You could probably use a 10 for putting your clasp on. The light's blocking my view. There. That in there? There should be enough thread. Key word here, should. Okay. So this is the clasp I'm going to put on. So normally this part of the clasp, you use a bead to attach it to. For something like this, you could actually attach it straight to the Superduos like that. But I kind of wanted to use something. In matching a pink, fluorescent pink with another, like a crystal or a pearl that matches that, I couldn't come up with anything. So I got this lovely faceted crystal, and it's a rondelle. You can tell it's kind of pinched a bit. You can use whatever you have for sure. You could use a gold pearl or something like that. So let's see. The other side to this clasp has an opening. So there's 2 holes there. So this you can either attach directly to your bracelet like that, or you can add again a wire guard, and I'm going to see if I can get a jump ring in there. Let's test that out first before we start attaching everything. Oh, and I should have checked this. This is not opening. Sometimes they're hard to open when they're not attached to anything. Let me see if, there we go. So let's see if we can get a jump ring on there. So I hope everybody's having a nice summer. We finally got some nice weather, but I feel bad for everyone dealing with the fires. This is getting crazy. Okay, so I don't know that this is going to work. This may take some... See. Let me see if I open it a little more. You know, I went through like about 5 different clasps for this, and they all looked good. And then I was like, you know what? I just need to put the heart on there and just... I'm starting to wonder what I'm doing here. Oh, yeah, I don't think this is going to work. Me and my bright ideas. I think I take after my dad. He was... Oh, it's so close. It would have to be a smaller... Yeah, okay, so that's not going to work. Let me see if this will go straight through. So I'm going to put it on the inside. I see what the problem is. This is a really good clasp. It's almost there. Let's see if we can jostle that in a bit. This clasp has like a border on the all around the edges where the crystals are going in. So you can see those. I don't want the heart to be like that sticking out. So we're going to have to attach it directly. I think what we'll do is we'll still put the wire guard on the... No, I guess we don't need it. No, this will go directly on. Okay, never mind. Sorry, Crystal, for another project. So let's put those away. Don't need those. You can use some French wire if you need. You feel it would work better. I've used French wire a few times for this type of thing, and if you use more than a couple of millimeter length, I find it crushes over time. So maybe I'm just not using the right French wire. So I'm just going in and out of each hole like that. And I'm going to go through this bead here, that, flip that. See, sometimes I try to do elaborate stuff. I should have just put it on like this. Look at this. That looks amazing. Okay. Never mind. So we're going to go through it a few times so that it's secure. Flip that so the thread's not going over. And let me bring the camera down a bit and zoom in so you can really see what's happening. And these clasps I get on AliExpress. Now, I have to say, I get a lot of questions about my clasp because I do use a lot of these fancy clasps. And when I started buying them just a few years ago, they were like something like this would have been $1. They're getting expensive now, like most things are. So if you find any dealios, let me know and I'll let people know. That's lovely. Okay. That in there. Like that. I have a bit of thread, so I think I'm going to go in a 4th time because I just feel like it's moving around too much. Like that. And we'll go through here. And nice and tight. And let's go down through here. I'm going to pick up a thread bridge here, make a loop, put my finger on it, and tighten it. Then I'm going to go down, and I'm going to follow the thread path. So it may look weird how you're following it. And actually, this is a good time. You see how this thread is super long? You can come back in and tighten things. So let me just go through here, up through here, and that should tighten that. And bring it down here. And it could be just that way from me messing around with the end. Yeah, you can see it's gotten loose. Okay. Yeah, the big looseness there. Okay, tuck that in. The thread's off. Let's put this back on and we'll make another knot there. Keep that nice and tight. Okay. So I'm going to pick up a thread bridge, put my thread around the end, put my thumb there so that that loop doesn't come across another bead, and pulling it tight, and then I'll go up around these beads. Oh, I see this one needs to be down here. That was from me pulling those beads together. I find when I do this, I end up tightening stuff along the way. Let's go down this way. Okay, we'll go through 1 or 2 more, and that'll be that side complete. Okay, take that off, and we'll cut this. That's going to be pretty. Okay, go to this side. So this is the starting side. So those first 3 beads, let me see if I can show you on one that I haven't. So your first 3 beads are always going to look like this little kind of pinwheel look. and the holes are really close together with a seed bead in between each. But when you go to do this one, if you go to do that with it, you'll never get that shape again. I mean, I guess you could add another seed bead and do it like this, but it pulls apart the beads that you've already worked on, so that's why I mention it. And again, then, you know what? I'm new to this. If you have a technique, let me know. And there's not. I hate when that happens. But you know what? This thread's so small. I'm just gonna tighten it and squeeze it so it's smaller, and it should go through everything. Let's see if it'll go through my thread. Otherwise, we'll have to cut it off. So let's put that on there. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. Just cut that. We still have lots of thread here. There we go. So you're learning a lot of tricks on not to do, shortcuts not to take. Don't leave the knots in your thread. Okay, so this would probably go turn that way and turn that way and turn that way. So we are going to put this together. So we need to bring these together. Let's do that. And like that. So yeah, I guess I could have put some seed beads in there. Let me grab some. This is not the color. Let me see. No, that's the pink. This should be it. Toho. So let's try these. I'm learning as I go. So let's go back out of here. Actually, you know what? I feel like maybe we should just put the beads in. No, we better not. I was going to put the beads in after. If you're like me, even though you can't see the thread, you know it's there. Okay, so pick up an 11-0, go through Superduo, 11-0, Superduo, and 11-0, and go through this hole here. And you know it's the hole you started with because the thread is going in the opposite direction. And it kind of looks like there's two beads together here. But let's go through this again. There, that's better. And go through here. And we'll tighten this up. And I use my fingers to kind of squeeze it together to get the tension. So I think we're going to go through one of the 11-0s. We're going to pick up our crystal. And it's opened. We're going to go through. So when you're using one of these clasps, it has the bar. The purpose of the bar is to hold your thread. But because you can't bend your needle around that bar, there's a hole in your clasp right there. So I try to remember, use the same pattern all the time. So I always go from the back of the bar, come up through the clasp itself, then go to the front of the bar. And the reason I say that is this one we can see where the thread is, but we're going to do this a few times to secure everything together. If you go through the same one every time, you're only going to have one string holding everything together instead of, say, 3, because I usually do 3. And once it's on in the position, you can't see anymore. So you have to kind of make sure you get there on your own. So the front and back trick usually works. I say usually. So now I'm going to the bead that's opposite the bead where the thread's coming out of. Like that. And let's snug it up. Then go over. Back to the other bead. And you know what? I think I'm going to go to the alternate bead so that this doesn't flop back and forth like that. So let's go through this third bead here, like that. So now, remember what I said, go up through the back of it. So we're going to go through this bead, and it's a little bit tricky to get through a crystal or a pearl or a bead. So just kind of move your crystal off to the side, kind of aiming with your needle to the back of it, and then push it through. And we can only, imagine that it actually went through the back. Let's pull that tight. So now you're going to take your needle and you're going to bring it towards the front of that bar. You might have to move it over so that you can get through your needle or through your crystal again. So that's the second time, and just let that fall through. And sometimes when you're doing this, you can feel the thread go further than it needs to. You know that you've missed the bar. So let's go. Let's go through here. We'll go around. So that was 2 times around. We'll do a third time, and that should be fine. That. And I'm going to use this middle bead here to go up. It's super snug against the Superduo. That's good. That. I'm amazed that this crystal is looking very blingy along with the fluorescent pink. Okay, so go to the back, take your needle and kind of push it. You might have to push this forward a bit, and you can kind of feel it coming through. And it should go off to an angle so that you get past the clasp like that. Now come down through the front. It gets a little trickier doing this if your tension's super tight. Oh, I had it and lost it there. There we go. That. And that's good. I feel like there's like a little hole there that should close up. Let's go through this bead. So this is the strand I was saying. I have 3 strands coming through on this side, but I'll show you that when we get to the design. So I'm just going to go through here because I want to go across and close this up, and then I'll make a knot like there. Now you see what I was talking about. Let's go through here and we'll tie this off. I'm gonna get a thread bridge. Bring your thread around your needle, pull it through, and I'm gonna go up through this bead and down through the others. I'll have to do that in 2 steps there. And that cinches that knot and it closes that little hole. There is a bit of thread showing here. I think with practice, we'll figure out how to get over that shown thread so much. So let's just kind of weave through here so we can hide our tail like that. And let's take a look. I'm so excited. Oh, this is my new favorite bracelet. What? This is, I want to say hilarious. It's like so blingy. It's ridiculous. And you know what? Sometimes when I do stuff like this, and even though there's kind of messiness, I'll either take it apart, fix it, or leave it. The mistake is part of the bracelet. This is lovely. That turned out lovely. Okay, so that's 2 now. We have 2 blingy bracelets, and of course pink on each, right? So I pulled out these beads because I thought I'm going to do a man's bracelet. I don't think this is going to be a man's bracelet when I finish with it, because all my clasps are very blingy. So this was done with the black John Bead Good Thread. Yummy. I love, love, love working with it. It is so lovely. So this one, we should be able to put the wire guardians no problem. Okay. Might as well put the jump ring on. The one that's closed. I guess it's not going to matter. Okay, so my thread is coming out of one of the top beads. We're going to put the wire guard on. I'm trying to decide which is the best one to go through. So make sure you go through the other side of your wire guard. And go through your bead. And get it in the center. You know what? I think maybe we should put a 15-0 in there. That'll bring it closer together so we don't have to distort the wire guard. Let's do that. Okay. Okay, where are my 15s? I have them in a project tray. Just 1 minute. Okay, I've got my 15s. They're super small. I think one on each side should still do it. So if you look here, yeah, I would bring it. Yeah, that should work. So go through your wire guardian, your 15-0 on there. Come back around to the other side of the wire guardian and pick up a 15. That. Pull that all down. Go to your next bead. And we can actually cross over the Superduo and the other 11-0. That, and we're gonna, there, that's good. That worked out. I could have probably, let me move it over a bit. Yeah, there. So let's just go back up through everything. Okay, go through the 15. I was trying to do it all at once, but it's not going to work. Go through the wire guard, the one side. Then come down the other side of the wire guard. And I always put my finger there to hold the thread so that it goes into the channel. And that would have gone off the channel. So like that. Go through the 15-0 and the 11-0. Just bring that over like that. And that's nice and secure. I think we can go one more time. That. Go through the 15. And through the wire guard. Gets a little snug. These wire guardians that I have are super tiny, and I purposely picked them because they don't look as unfinished as the bigger ones. But you have to remember you can't get as much thread through it. And when you go to put your thread over the channel like this, sometimes it'll slide off because there's no space for it. Just remember that. But that worked out. So let's go through here and we're going to weave through, tie off. And you're just kind of following the thread path. That. I am going to get a thread bridge here. Let's do it this way. I don't want my needle and thread going across the wire guard. Okay, so grab your thread just once around. I used to do twice all the time, and then I had knots everywhere. This way it doesn't really look like a knot, but make sure it's secure. So let's come through here, and we will go up and over. We'll go through this one. That will, well, maybe not. So we can cut this now. So that is what you have. Lovely. So now we are going to attach this. Here, we've got one open here. Now, when you're putting these on, just make sure you have the right side up. Right now, it doesn't matter because this is the first side. Unless you have a side that you like better, that maybe, you know, like in this one, you could see the thread. So you might want to put your clasps so that they're facing up, away from that secret thread. So there's your ta-da. So now let's open this and we'll attach this one with a wire guard on the other end. And this is where you'll have to be careful with the orientation of the clasp, because there is a front and back. Okay. This would look super lovely, this color, in a necklace. Like, I want to do a whole strip of this and do a really extraordinary clasp so that you can put your clasp at the front. Let me grab my thread here. So you can see this thread has been through half of the bracelet. It took 2 wingspans to make this. And look how good a shape it's still in. Like, I find that the other thread, when you go through, it shrivels up and separates, and there we go. So I think we'll put, did I get rid of my toe hose? There they are. Okay. They're not the right color. These are like a champagne color. Rose gold. And the colors I used in here were more of a kind of halfway between the rose gold and this. But as you can tell, you can't see at this level. So I just put an 11-0. I'm going to go through the first Superduo. That. Then an 11-0. Superduo. 11-0. Superduo. That. Just kind of jiggle them together. And I'm going to go around a few more times. Get that nice and secure. Like that. There. Okay. There. Super tight. I am going to grab a thread bridge, twist it around, put my finger on it. There. Now we need a wire guard. I'm going to go through the bead. Actually, I'm going to go through the 11-0 and the Superduo and come out the next 11-0, and we'll add the wire guard. So let's grab 15-0, the wire guard. Oh, this one's tight. this may not go through. Let me see if I can. I have an embroidery needle here. Might be able to open this up a bit. I can see it's been crushed a bit. I don't think I'm going to get this open. Let me see. No. Let's grab another one. Best laid plans. Never seems to work. So actually we have one over here. 2 of them. Those ones should be fine. So is this the one that was... Yep, that's the one. I can see there's a... So that's what I was saying. By using these super tiny ones, you have to be ready to kind of, have to cull through the ones that are going to work for you. Then go down the other side of the wire guard, like that. Pick up a 15-0 for the other side. Bring that all down. And keep grabbing my pliers. So let's go through this 11-0 here. Get that in the middle there. And I'm going to go all the way around through the back side. And through this. Go up the 15-0 and the wire guard. Like that. Come across the wire guard down through the channel. And if you can manage to get your 15-0 there, like that. And just watch that the thread goes in the channel, like that. Go through the 11-0. I'm going to go through the Superduo as well. Like that. Go through the 11-0. Through the Superduo. We're going to try to go through one more time. There we go. It's getting a little bit sticky. And down through the second channel, through the 15-0, and actually we can get the 11-0 as well. And just put my finger there to kind of coax that thread in the right spot. Perfect. Let's go through here and go down this bead. Just find a path to create a knot. That. Okay, I'm going to create my thread, my knot. I'm going to pick up a thread bridge here. Put my thread around, put my finger on it, pull it tight, and go down a few beads. Actually, let's go this way. Oh no, we can go this way. That. and unhook that. And one more, and that's it. There we go. So now we have, so I'll bring this out so you can see when I'm putting the second clasp on. I want to make sure, just because we didn't really have a set bead to attach our wire guard, and we had an option of like 2 ways to attach it because there's 3 beads. So if you're like me and you go to put your bracelet on and the clasp on one side is going in one direction and it really should be going the other, it's frustrating. So just lay it out like this. So this is how we want it to stay. And if you take a look, so actually let's just flip it like this. There. So if your clasp is laying flat, so now what we need to do is we need to put a jump ring going front to back with our clasp going side to side. So take the time to look at your orientation and you'll be less frustrated. So let's enlarge this again so you can see. So keep the same orientation and the jump ring will sit in there. Let's open that up. Here's the other thing too about using wire guardians I never thought about till I started using them a little more, is that actually this is not going to work now that I'm looking at this. We may need 2 because it's going side to side and it should be front to back. So we'll put 2 on here. And that's what I was going to say about the wire guardian. So this bracelet I made for 7-inch wrist. And if you want to give it to somebody who has a different size wrist, you can either take the jump ring off or you can add a jump ring if they have a bigger, if their wrist is 7 1/4 or 7 1/2, you can add 1 or 2 jump rings and you're done. That one's not closed right. So let's scoop that in there. And that will go like this. So I have it upside down, but actually when we close this, it'll flip right side up. But we'll double check that to be sure. Sometimes you're making these and it's late at night, you're tired. I speak from experience. You're like, why are these all on the wrong side? I know, I checked them. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be perfect like that. So let me just, this one here is a little bit open. And bring it across. Oh, this turned out nice. There we go. Look at that. Ta-da! Bring this out a bit. That turned out really pretty. So there is the after video. It should have been the before. So stay tuned for the before video. And ta-da! This is the fun stuff we're going to do very soon. There we go. Take care, everybody. And let me know if you've made these before. And if you have any hints, tips, whatever, preach. See you in the next video. Bye for now.